Alright, we are back with another episode, and today we're going to talk about the mysterious origin of the Ouija board. The Ouija, also known as a spirit board or talking board, is a flat board marked with the letters of the alphabet, the numbers 0 through 9, and the word yes, no, occasionally hello, and goodbye, along with various symbols and graphics. It uses a planchette, a small heart-shaped piece of wood or plastic, as a movable indicator to spell out messages during a seance. Participants place their fingers on the planchette, and it is moved about the board to spell out words. Ouija is a trademark of Hasbro, but is often used generically to refer to any talking board. By the way, the word seance is an attempt to communicate with spirits. Spiritualists in the United States believe that the dead were able to contact the living and reportedly used a talking board very similar to a modern Ouija board at their camps in the U.S. state of Ohio in 1886. To ostensibly enable faster communication with spirits. Following its commercial introduction by businessman Elijah Bond on July 1, 1890, the Ouija board was regarded as an innocent parlor game, unrelated to the occult, until American spiritualist Pearl Curran popularized its use as a divining tool during World War I. The strange and mysterious history of the Ouija board. In February 1891, the first few advertisements started appearing in papers. Ouija, the wonderful talking board, boomed a Pittsburgh toy and novelty shop, describing a magical device that answered questions about the past, present, and future with marvelous accuracy, and promised never-failing amusement and recreation for all classes. A link between the known and the unknown, the material and the immaterial. Another advertisement in New York newspaper declared it interesting and mysterious, and testified as proven at patent office before it was allowed. The price originally was $1.50. Obviously, the whole thing about Ouija boards is that you're able to contact spirits or dead relatives through the use of this magical board. So the creator of the modern Ouija board took the Ouija board, went to the patent office, like he actually sat down with the patent office and did the whole Ouija board experience and proved that it worked. This mysterious talking board was basically what's sold in board game aisles today, a flat board with the letters of the alphabet arrayed in two semicircles above the numbers 0 through 9, the words yes and no in the uppermost corners, goodbye at the bottom, accompanied by a planchette, a teardrop-shaped device, usually with a small window in the body used to maneuver about the board. The idea was that two or more people would sit around the board, place their fingertips on the planchette, pose a question, and watch dumbfounded as the planchette moved from letter to letter, spelling out the answer seemingly of its own accord. The biggest difference is in the materials. The board is now usually cardboard rather than wood, and the planchette is plastic. Though truth in advertising is hard to come by, especially in products from the 19th century, the Ouija board was interesting and mysterious. It actually had been proven to work at the patent office before its patent was allowed to proceed, and today even psychologists believe it may offer a link between the known and the unknown. Yes, you heard that right. To get a patent for his product, he actually had to go to the patent office and prove that the Ouija board worked, and he proved it to them, and they gave him a patent. So that's very strange, bizarre, and mysterious. The real history of the Ouija board is just as mysterious as how the game works. Ouija historian Robert Murch has been researching the story of the board since 1992. When he started his research, he says no one really knew anything about its origin, which struck him as odd. For such an iconic thing that strikes both fear and wonder in American culture, how can no one know where it came from? The Ouija board, in fact, came straight out of the American 19th century obsession with spiritualism, the belief that the dead are able to communicate with the living. Spiritualism, which had been around for years in Europe, hit America hard in 1848. With the sudden prominence of the Fox sisters of upstate New York, the Foxes claimed to receive messages from spirits. Aided by the stories about the celebrity sisters and other spiritualists in the new national press, spiritualism reached millions of adherents as it peaked in the second half of the 19th century. Spiritualism worked for Americans. It was compatible with Christian dogma, meaning one could hold a seance on Saturday night and have no qualms about going to church the next day. It was an acceptable, even wholesome activity to contact spirits at seances through automatic writing or table-turning parties in which participants would place their hand on a small table and watch it begin to shake and rattle while they all declared that they weren't moving it. The movement also offered solace in an era where the average lifespan was less than 50. There are a lot of musicians, poets, and composers that claim that when they write down lyrics to songs or poetry, it's not really them writing it. They're getting this information, they're getting these lyrics from somewhere else. In fact, the famous rock band Led Zeppelin claimed that through the use of automatic handwriting, they were able to write their song Stairway to Heaven. And they claim that the lyrics to Stairway to Heaven, they got help from somewhere else, a whole nother world or dimension, as a lot of people like to call it. Okay, now that we know all that about the Ouija board, let's talk about some notable users. First person I really want to talk about is a famous occultist by the name of Aleister Crowley. For those of you who don't know who Aleister Crowley is, a while ago I made a video on Aleister Crowley and who he is, so if you want to go check that out, the link will be in the bio. So Aleister Crowley had a great admiration for the use of the Ouija board, and it played a passing role in his magical workings. Jane Wolfe, who lived with Crowley at Abbey of Thelema, also used the Ouija board. She credits some of her greatest spiritual communication to the use of this. In one letter, Crowley told Jones, "Your Ouija board experiment is rather fun. You see how very satisfactory it is, but I believe things improve greatly with practice. I think you should keep to one angel and make the magical preparations more elaborate." So Aleister Crowley believed you're able to contact so-called angels. Bill Wilson was another notable user. He is the co-founder of Alcohol Anonymous, and he used a Ouija board and conducted seances in an attempt to contact the dead. Early press release stated that Vincent Furner's stage and band name Alice Cooper was agreed upon after a session with a Ouija board. I also believe like the name Alice is like another nickname for the devil. I'm not too sure why. I kind of looked into it and I still haven't been able to find like a proper explanation, but if I do find it, I'll post it. Yeah, that was the mysterious origin and history of the Ouija board. Now, my personal belief about the Ouija board and contacting spirits or dead relatives, I actually believe the spirits that they're contacting are real, but they're not dead relatives and they're not nice spirits. They are demonic entities pretending to be nice spirits and pretending to be your dead relatives. Often that's why people are so surprised when they do the whole Ouija board thing and then the spirit is telling them things about themselves that only they know, right? Such as a relative that passed away, or that relative's favorite song that only they know, or secrets that only they know. But it's not because the spirit of the dead relative is talking to him, it's because a demonic entity is talking to him instead and pretending to be a spirit of the dead relative. And the reason demonic entities pretend to be your friend, they pretend to be spirits or dead relatives, is to get closer to you. In fact, in a TikTok I made not too long ago, I talked about magicians and how some of their magic tricks aren't just tricks and illusions. If you take a look at old magician posters from like the early 1900s, the 1800s, you'll notice that all of these posters have one thing in common. They all have these like cartoony-like demonic entities helping these magicians do their tricks. And I'll post some of the pictures for you to take a close look at. Like, look at this one picture of Thurston the Great. As you zoom into the background, it looks like the demonic entities are helping this magician do his tricks and levitations by lifting the woman, right? And in all these other posters from the same time period of the different magicians, you see the same thing, like weird entity. You see the same thing, devilish, demonic-looking entities helping the magician with their tricks, right? Holding pairs of dice, holding cards. And it's almost as if the magician is telling you how he's doing his magic tricks. And according to Aleister Crowley, he stated that spells and magic doesn't really work unless you let the public know what you're doing, indirectly or directly. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. This is very bizarre and weird and very interesting as well. By the way, shout out to my one and only patron, Michael B. Thank you so much for making a patron. If you guys want early access to my videos such as this one with no ads, check out my Patreon. The link will be down below. In fact, I'm going to post this video on the Patreon first. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and we are done.